welcome to Who Corner to Corner podcast. My name is Geoff and his name is Paul, as they have been for quite some time now.
The last at least 4 years.
The last
since we've been doing this.
Years.
Yeah.
So we are here tonight, obviously.
Yes, we are.
And we're going to do something a little bit different tonight. We're going to talk about various things. We're going to wing it because there's nothing to talk about. No, that's not true. But we're going to talk about rumours. We're going to do something that we don't normally do. We're going to venture into traditional Who-tuber territory and to talk about rumours and gossip, and to see what you dear listeners think. Do you want us to do more of this? After what comes out, you may not. And then we're going to...
My thoughts on rumours. I'm not a fan of rumours, but given that we've got literally nothing else to talk about, really, we might as well, because there's not much. Well, there may be stuff coming through from the Doctor Who news channels, but nothing confirmed as such.
Well, yes. There are things happening, which we'll come to. But the show is obviously off air at the moment, not back until Christmas. And there's various rumours floating around about what's going to be happening, what's going on, of which some of these I have heard. We're going to talk about that. I'm looking
forward to it immensely. Actually, I don't want to sound sarcastic, but I am actually looking forward to it because, I genuinely don't engage with rumours at all. There's usually so many of them flying around there, and people kind of pile on them, and they become explosive, and people say, yes, this is fact, and other people say, no, you're talking out your backside, and how dare you suggest such a thing as this is actually happening. And it's quite surprising, actually, what actually does come true like later on, especially in recent years. So why not? Let's just go for it. Let's dive into that morass of nebulous monstrosity and see what happens.
Well, all of the rumours for Shooty's only 2 seasons were almost completely true. There was various...
What was that?
Well, every plot point that happened.
Really?
Yeah.
So they're all talking about, that episode or the giant slugs and whatever else.
It was like, it was always on Reddit.
Billy's coming back.
Well, that rumour came out, and then it turned out to be true. And honestly, there was, like you said, you don't see them, but there were rumoured episode synopsis, plot breakdowns, etc., that came out via Reddit, and then they make their way over to Twitter, and out of curiosity I read them, and then they were entirely true.
Amazing.
So either someone is really good at making this up, or
there's a leak. There's a leak in the system somewhere.
Or is it a deliberate leak?
Well, Is it actually clever marketing to get the fans having conversations, cutting each other's throats?
Thinking, but if it is, it's a really dumb thing. Because, like, for example, slightly different, but the other day some new Mario movie toys got leaked. And I saw the pictures on Twitter, and I thought, I'll show Ethan. He's looking forward to that. And then I thought, these leaks are, really fuzzy pictures, and the boxes are held at a poor angle, and you can't really get a good look at anything. And I thought, if you were going to leak something early, as part of your sort of stealth marketing or something, wouldn't you at least do a decent picture so people could see it and go, oh, that looks amazing, not see it and go, can't tell what that is, bit blurred, is it good, is it bad? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like yesterday or this morning I saw a Doctor Doom T-shirt went up briefly for sale on Amazon, and it had a bit of a description of the character from the new film. Promptly removed very quickly, but a handful of people online managed to get hold of it.
They snapped it, yeah.
And was that a mistake, or was it little bit of an early marketing? But at least with that, there's a physical thing with a decent picture on it.
You pay money for it and actually have it.
And it's well, most likely gone out a bit too early, nearly a year early. But with the Who stuff, it's possible someone's leaking something, either somehow connected to the production or it's coming directly from the production. Why? I don't really know why you do that when you're, supposed to be trying to keep things secret. I mean,
well, I guess you kind of have a buzz of, like I said, conversation. The fans jump on it. Things explode across social media.
Like they always do a little synopsis in an episode.
It keeps it
teaser.
kind of going, doesn't it? It keeps people talking about it. It keeps
it does,
it live while it's off air, perhaps.
There's a difference between giving everything away and a bit of a synopsis of an episode.
And also stirring the pot with rumours and hearsay and stuff like that.
But again, when it
just go on.
Well, when it ends up being the truth, it's not really.
Well, there you go. Yeah. Is it actually then just clever marketing? I remember when the series came back in 2005, right? Except the year before, a year or two before that, after it was announced that Doctor had gone back into production, and I was thoroughly, massively excited. I was honestly, I was scouring the internet, such as it was in those days, for anything, and I signed up with the BBC Doctor Who website, and that was great. And every day they'd release a little picture from like model making or something or other. And I do remember seeing a picture of a load of plastic faces and hands just on a table, unpainted, freshly molded, unpainted plastic mannequin pieces, basically. And I don't think they'd announced that it was officially going to be Autons in the first episode. But as soon as I saw those hands and those faces, I was ridiculously excited. Honestly, I was jumping up and down like a kid. I just could not wait, because we never had Autons. Well, yes, we had them in my lifetime, but I was very little when Terror of the Autons was out. So it just never been a thing that I'd seen. And there was supposed to be Autons in a Colin Baker season, but that season was cancelled and replaced with Trial of a Time Lord, so it never happened. So I was deliriously excited to see stuff coming out from that.
Yeah, and see, something like that is a sanctioned release, and it's obviously been planned.
It's teasy, and it's teasy, isn't it? It tells you something without telling you anything.
Yeah. And Marvel do that sort of stuff sometimes. They put a picture out, and maybe in the background there's something, or whatever it might be, that will kind of catch people's eye. Like they did it with Avatar stuff. There was production office filming, and they blurred out
7 minutes and 40 seconds into the podcast, ladies and gentlemen. It gets its first mention, the A word.
And they blurred out lots of things that you weren't meant to see yet, except for one or two things that they clearly have let go, so that people will talk about it. But these Who rumours, they are far too detailed and specific to be
accidental.
I think to be to be an official, as it were, leak.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So you don't think they'd release that much information?
No,
if it was...
you're doing yourself over to release every single plot point, particularly when people see it and go, "This sounds crap," And so
it's too late by then, isn't it?
It is really.
Rid of it, it's pretty much locked off. So there's nothing you can do.
So that leads me to the sort of the main rumour that's going around at the moment regarding Christmas. So obviously Billy is back as whatever, the Doctor, Bad Wolf, or Rose, or something,
whatever.
Not
the Doctor then.
Well, who knows? I don't know on that. I mean, I kind of think the Doctor regenerated and turned into Billy. If there was some sort of cosmic evil intervention, we should have seen it. And a shot of the TARDIS console being lit by regen energy is not, to me, the sign of it's Bad Wolf coming back. So I don't know. My mind, the Doctor regenerates. It's the Doctor. It's not Bad Wolf. It's not Rose. But I also don't really care. And I just honestly, I think it's just I cannot express enough how much I dislike it. And the other rumour is that Tennant's back.
Your favourite
as 14 again.
14, actually the 14th Doctor.
Yeah, in some sort of nonsensical thing to tie up the story threads hanging from Russell. They're not
there wasn't
story
any
threads.
story threads.
No, they're not.
He retired
It's just
in the back of, was it the Nobles' garden, and had afternoon tea and occasionally buggered off in the TARDIS with somebody or other.
And in theory, that works.
Yeah,
but he's been left there with the TARDIS. There's been incidents in London that he hasn't turned up for. So frankly, it's just sloppy.
Sounds like a bit of a mess. So
it is a mess.
So you think that rumour is actually true then, yeah?
Well, I saw a thing of Tennant had cancelled an upcoming convention appearance. People were saying, he's clean-shaven again, his hair's looking a certain way. Billy's been posting this week pictures of her looking blonde and having her face scanned for something, which is not figures, as some people were thinking online. So, chatting in one of the chat groups on WhatsApp, the thinking or rumour is that sort of Billy, Doctor, and 14 will, I don't know, snog and merge into one unit and become the next Doctor or something. So
the opposite by generation, then they'll sort of have some kind of holy union, and start off a whole new line of Billy, David, Doctors.
and then it sort of it gets Rose and the Doctor back together again, and then apparently that'll sort of be the end of it, and I was told that there is a new showrunner, being lined up.
That's what we need.
Well, yeah, and as
long as it's not Mr. Blobby.
And I was like, seriously, that guy? Or, like,
who are they saying? Can we say?
I don't know. But it was a very surprising choice. Not a bad one necessarily at all. But
do you know the name though?
Yes.
Can you text it to me? Go on.
Yes.
Text it to me now.
But it would certainly take the show.
Get my live on-air reaction
into a different.
This is
direction.
Actual proper entertainment, ladies and gentlemen.
If anyone's still listening,
Geoff works on his text. Multitasking. Actually, not multitasking, because look at his focus there. For those of you who can see it,
I've done it. It's gone.
You've done it.
Yeah.
Oh, Christ on a stick! Really?
I don't know. That's just the rumour. So
okay, right.
I mean, that's
I try to be positive with these things, and we are the Positive Doctor Who podcast.
Yeah. God, do you know about that? Like, I feel.
What do you feel, Geoff?
I don't often feel sort of disappointed or frustrated by things, but it's actually happened a bit in the recent past, and it's a very strange feeling for me. I tweeted earlier, I like with Marvel, I expect I'll be proven wrong, and I expect I'll be very surprised by Doomsday, and I'll thoroughly enjoy it, and it will be great. But right now, the making Steve Rogers the lead, building it all around a small plot point from Endgame, is not working for me.
Wait, we're talking about Marvel now,
Yeah.
Did we segue into the MCU without me being aware of it? Just on this name that
you weren't listening.
No, I was looking at the name and just kind of running it through my mental library. He's a good writer.
He's
not
good.
Just written that thing that you texted me that you obviously don't like, but he's written.
No, I don't dislike it. I think it's taking.
I think there could be a lot worse people. There's somebody who knows how to craft a story.
It would take the show in a very different direction for sure. No, but what I was saying about Marvel is that bringing back Steve Rogers to lead Doomsday it's not working for me. Is that
actually a thing? I think I had seen something of that.
Well, yeah, he's in it, and supposedly
he's retired though. Yeah.
His story was finished. He went back to Peggy, and it was finished. They said, he returned the Infinity Stones, went back in time and returned them and stuff, and supposedly those actions are what's triggered. The different realities collapsing, and that's why Doom comes after him. And I've got nothing against
parallels here.
Well, maybe, but it's just like we've had loads of great characters. Mr. Fantastic has been out Sue Storm, Shang-Chi, Yelena,
Yeah.
Red Guardian, lots of really good characters. Why are we going back and bringing Steve Rogers back in? His story was finished. We don't
Steve
need.
Rogers like the equivalent of the 10th Doctor, or David Tennant specifically, I guess,
Well,
since he's the 10th and the 14th.
I don't know if it's because he'd still. It's like I don't really have a problem with Robert Downey playing Doom because different character.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
I'm up for that.
Nicely
as long as they
circular about it.
Yeah, but as long as they don't end up revealing, oh, actually, he's evil Tony Stark from another dimension.
Yeah, from another dimension.
That doesn't work for me.
It was all a fever dream. He went in the shower one day, and it all kicked off. It all went south.
But I just think there's a lot of reliance on nostalgia and safety.
I agree.
And like I said, I'm sure Doomsday will end up being absolutely spectacular, and I'll eat my words on it. But right now,
it's not looking good.
I don't know whether it's not looking good. I'd say I'm worried is the thing. Why are we having to have Steve lead it? Frankly, what I want is Yelena, Shuri, Mr. Fantastic, Shang-Chi, and Spidey. That's what I want to see.
So here's the thing then, right? Because this seems to be something which is occurring right across the board, not just in the MCU, right? Because I think Doctor Who is doing it also.
One film franchise.
It's only one film franchise. It's 3 films, dude. Right?
Franchise.
And a couple of video games and some cards and what have you, right? Anyway, right? Regardless, yeah? With all these things that have been going for a long, long number of years, right? Because obviously Marvel Comics and the movies in one form or another are just constantly like an engine, right? It's a factory, it's churning them through, right? But then, of course, start the century in the last sort of 10 years or so up to Endgame, they became incredibly popular. They filled theaters, filled cinemas. They were mega events, twice yearly, whatever it was, and people flocked to see them. People collected them. They got invested in the story. They got invested in the characters, despite all the kind of to and fro in between timelines and various other things. And that Endgame movie was explosive. We did a podcast on it. It's a 3-hour film.
It was
amazing. Our podcast was in 2-3 hour parts. It was twice as long as the actual movie because there was that much to talk about in it.
Yeah.
Honestly, ladies and gentlemen, if you can find it, get out there. It's amazing, right? But it's a great thing. But then after that, it's almost like there's a sort of come down, right? There's like, okay, so we've done with those characters now. We need to find something else. But for the mass market, maybe those new or lesser known, lesser well-known characters don't achieve the level of kind of iconic status that the previous ones had. So in the end, what happens is the disaffection on the splits between the fan base becomes so massive. And if that's reflected within the studio, in the writer's room and everything else, right, do they not then bow to the pressure that, do you know what, we've just got to bring these guys back in some way? And these discussions happen, and then someone shows them the money, and they say, "Well, look, your movies are all right; they're doing okay, but they're actually the takings are going down, or whatever." Regardless of the fact that the entire film industry is in decline anyway, right?
Yeah,
your movies are failures, or whatever. So they think, well, what can we do? What do we need to do? We need to bring Steve Rogers back.
Yeah.
In Doctor Who terms as well, right? We need to bring David Tennant back. Whatever. Do you think that's part of it? Is it kind of a zeitgeist thing? Also, because we've had in movies, even including your favourite franchise, is a whole bunch of sequels, right?
Yeah.
Even if it's a moving on of the story, right? There's sequels and sequels and sequels. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. Because of commercial reasons, no doubt, right? But is there not anything in there which sparks of originality? Is that actually what we're missing right now? Not just in the MCU, not just in Doctor Who, but right across the board in genre fiction and cinema. Are we missing a spark of originality, of credible, confident storytelling, do you think?
Well, I think there's a couple of things there. I think that I think that cinema attendance is still down.
It is
25%,
Don't worry, I'm not going to rant about it this time.
Good.
We've done that already.
And I think that, that's a big issue still. There's been an awful lot of films recently that, should have made, a lot of money, but they haven't. So
Avatar has, though, hasn't it? Avatar.
the new one's done.
They've done really well.
Yeah, the second one did 2.5 billion, and the new one's done just under 1.5 at the moment. But I literally read an article last night that was sort of alluding to it being a flop, and you think, what? You can't make that kind of money and declare a film a flop. I mean, that is madness. And
I mean,
and
it's broke even and surpassed that point.
Well, it mustn't. Right? And also, they made 2 and 3 together. So there would have been one overall lump sum cost on that.
So the investment, the budget for those two movies is consolidated, right?
Between the two films, they've made just under $4 billion between them. That's not including the first film, which has done just under 3. So there is no way you can look at it and go, these films aren't successful. Yes, the third one has made a bit less money. I think takings are still down. I think that, I'm not sure that it's the old fatigue thing, but I think, the huge length of time between the first Avatar and the second one, built up a huge kind of audience and anticipation. And maybe if it had been 6 years between them rather than 3, it would have been different again. And there was things like, bad weather in the States kind of knocked out, attendance for a while and things like that. But I think it's done absolutely brilliant. It's still making money at the minute after nearly 3 months. 2 months.
But then, where are all the other movies then? So where are the?
I'll come to that. So, attendance is down. So you look at like Fantastic Four last year. It made good money, but people somehow expected it to make $1 billion because somehow the narrative has become that a film has to make $1 billion to be declared a success.
But who's saying that though? That's people on social media, right?
It is, but also it becomes the sort of...
Because everybody on social media kind of knows everything about everything, clearly.
Well, which is why I'm talking the way I'm talking now, because I know everything, and then, but it sort of thing gets picked up in the, magazines and the trade press and stuff.
Yeah.
But also, I think a huge issue is the streaming thing, because people have become accustomed post-COVID to not needing to go to the cinema because the film will be on streaming potentially for free within a couple of months, or to rent relatively cheap within sometimes a shorter window as 2 weeks. And when you've got things like Netflix saying they're going to buy Warner Brothers and they'll graciously commit to a 45-day cinema to home window. Yeah. That's like a month and a half. That is absolutely madness. Back in our day, and I understand that times change, but a film would come out, you'd wait 6 months for the rental, 6 months to buy it, another year for TV. 2
shillings from your father to get down to Picture House.
And I do understand that things change, but I don't understand why studios don't see that by having shoved everything onto streaming so quickly. And I've had conversations with people. In fact, the other day, I texted a friend, did you go see Avatar yet? I know you went to see the second one and we've talked at length about it. Oh, we're going to wait for streaming, because it'll be out soon. And that's what people do with a lot of things. I'm guilty of it as well. I have a busy life.
But if it's a film that you really
I
really
go
want
to
to
the
see,
cinema
that
to
you're
see
invested in, exactly, and that's the thing.
For me, it's a case of I don't have the time. I don't have the money to spend 15 quid a week at the cinema.
Oh, agreed.
So I have to make the choices between seeing the films I really want to see and waiting for the films I'd like to see. And
I think we all do, don't we?
We all do, yes. But
so
I think
if cinema prices were cheaper, if they were,
but they can't be now because of the fact that they're not making they don't make a quarter.
But if they were
what they used to.
Okay, so let's say for example, if they're 15 quid a ticket.
And that's why those popcorn bucket things, for example, have become so popular. Because
I've never had a popcorn bucket in my life, and I don't plan to try.
It's how the actual cinema, can make quite a lot of money.
I have to sell a lot of popcorn buckets. But here's the thing.
But they do, though.
So look, if the tickets cost, upwards of like 17 quid sometimes, aren't they? But let's say 15 quid as an average, right? So 15 quid, and you sell maybe, I don't know, just pick a number to make it easy, 100 tickets, right? So what's that? That's 1,500 quid that you take in the till, right? But what if, right, they dropped it down to a £5 and they sell 500 tickets?
Well, the thing is, so don't forget that a film, on average, the cinema only keeps half the taking. So half of it goes back to the
but
studio.
Nonetheless, they're selling more. They're selling more tickets.
They're selling more
getting
tickets,
more people in.
But are they potentially making more money? And when film,
because of course they are. Yeah, because
maybe
because the way you're not selling like one seat isn't a box that you take home, right? It's not something you buy and keep, right? It's literally it's like a rental for the time you spend watching that film. So, but if you've got if you've got an auditorium for 100 seats and you're only filling 20, that's 80 rentals you're not getting. If you drop the price to $5 and you fill that auditorium, then there's your 100 rentals straight away.
You're right. But I think the problem there is then that, a film, whatever it is, costs X million dollars and it needs to make double that to supposedly make a profit. But
no, you don't get that, right? If you drop the price for $5 and you sell more tickets, right?
No, I know.
You have more bums on seats.
Yes, but what
and you make your money. You make the money.
What I was going to say is that there's a fear of doing that, I think, in case the film doesn't make the money. And then
there you go. There's
investment.
Nobody's got balls. That's what it is. Nobody's got the bravery
because it's
to do
a financial thing. And also, because it will be on streaming in 45 days, it doesn't matter anyway, because people are now accustomed to not going to the cinema. So effectively what's happened is Hollywood has fucked themselves.
Pretty much.
And that's why we're in this situation now. So... and I think...
Excuse Geoff's language.
Excuse my language.
Who are listening.
And I think what you said about the reliance on nostalgia, I think it's a huge thing. I think that people, look, the world has been, really weird over the last few years. I think people want a reliance on stuff that they know, that they're comfortable with. If you're going to go to the cinema and pay out, you kind of want to know you're going to have a good time, not, a bit of a gamble that it might be good, it might not be. I do like to see, characters we know come back and things. But I think there's got to be, there's a bit of a line on it, For me, bringing Steve Rogers back in a potentially leading capacity in Doomsday is not a cool move. For me,
it's a backward step again, isn't it?
It is a backward step, but I also do understand the element of, on one hand, having Steve Rogers in it and Robert Downey will help us make money, but I actually find it really sad that, they have to sort of feel like they have to rely on that when you've got, a great actor like Florence Pugh in the film, Pedro Pascal, and Simu Liu plays Shang-Chi. I know they're all in the film, and I'm very much hoping that actually, those guys end up being kind of the biggest parts of it, and this is just sort of marketing at the moment. But make use of those guys, and people
have the
could
faith
say
in your new characters. You've already invested in
bit.
Bringing them to life. So
okay, fine.
Take the stories further.
Thunderbolts didn't make $1 billion. It was never going to as a film about a bunch of depressed people. But you need to sort of
it a little bit on the cheap side. Chillath.
No, but I think Thunderbolts is a fantastic film.
I know you enjoyed the film. Yeah.
No, I love it. It's brilliant. Yeah. I've got my 2 figures are there. It's a great film, but it's not a big wham bam blockbuster.
It's not a classic superhero movie, is it?
Not at all. And I highly doubt
it's a story about mental health as much as anything.
And I highly doubt that Kevin Feige was like, this film is going to make $1 billion. So when people say it's a flop, okay, if you thought it would make,
they don't like it.
Well, I think so, because I highly doubt that anyone was expecting that film to make much more than the 500 million that it did, or whatever it did, So I think there's a whole number of things at play here, and I don't like the over-reliance on nostalgia. It's a bit like in music. Oh, yeah, I love so-and-so's first album. So good. It's so good. Yeah, but they've done 10 albums. Yeah, but that first album, so good. It's
I think that's a slightly different thing, though. Maybe. Or do you mean unless the artist then does another album, their 11th album is literally a carbon copy of the first album?
Well, that happens.
That's what they return to, exactly. Yeah.
But I also think it's quite. I suppose I like things to move forward a bit, and I think it's quite sad when a band will make great new music, but people are just like, I just want to hear, that first single,
Yeah.
It's like, but when
If you've already
people
bought that first single, you can listen to it anytime you like.
you
or
got it.
streaming. Sorry,
Oh,
who buys
I
it? Who buys media these days?
people are like,
I love my record collection, and I'll still keep growing. I'll still keep buying records
yeah.
and stuff, and Freya does now as well. But
I really like the
can't beat
Killers. I think Mr. Brightside, it's a great song. Love the Killers. Can you name any other songs? I really like Mr. Brightside.
Do you actually like the Killers?
I have been to see the Killers. I
Have you?
think they were fantastic. Yeah, I'm not massively into them, and I couldn't name any other songs. But I went with my wife and her sisters. I think they were brilliant, absolutely fantastic. And I think it's a shame that they have produced other superb music,
and that nobody listens to. Everyone just goes back to their first album, basically.
Yeah. Which is a shame.
Though, I think a lot of that is a consequence of mass marketed media. For example, I mean, think back to the 90s. Blur was a really good example of that, and Pulp as well, right?
Blur were a great band who tried different stuff.
Right at the heart of Britpop, these two bands were suddenly peaked, right? They released loads of albums before that. Very few people at this, they were kind of niche. Suddenly, they all get into some kind of vibe, and their music kicks off. And then each one of them, was it Different Class was the Pulp album, right? And it just outsold everything they'd ever done before. And the same with Blur. What was it? The Great Escape. That album came out with country house and Universal and stuff like that on it, and suddenly that was everything. But then the next album came out, and a lot of people who kind of bought into them during that sudden rise in popularity thought the next one's going to be more like that. And actually, neither of them were. Pulp went in a slightly different direction, started talking about, much, much darker stuff. Blur are just a continually experimental sound anyway. They always move forward. They always moved everything on. No two albums are identical.
That's why
each one has its own identity.
Then I was
so then you get people, what I'm saying is that you get people then who kind of don't like this new groove. They like the mass marketed, the popular stuff, the poppy stuff, right?
That's exactly
is that then the same with the movies, right?
Yeah.
Because, you go off in a different creative direction. You're going to take some fans with you who absolutely love that. But the mass market, the ones who actually you probably kind of rely on to buy all your stuff, you leave them behind. And they fix on that narrow channel. So if you want to tap back into that market, you've got to somehow find your way back in. And if bringing back Steve Rogers or David Tennant or whatever is the only way that you can see how to do that, then that's a viable option. I'm not saying I agree that I hate it. I think you should just move away from that. But I think the harsh reality is that in order to make this stuff, whether it's a movie, an album, studio album, or whatever, you need cash to do it.
Yeah.
And and in a world where the number of studios is shrinking, the number of book publishers is shrinking.
Yeah.
Everything is being consolidated into these giant commercial corporations. So that one book publisher has many, many thousands of other smaller publishers, but they actually all subscribe to the rules of the big giant corporation. So many studios now, Netflix and Amazon kind of buying up all those traditional studio names.
That's the thing. It's more.
They all depend on that commercial model.
It's more about money and shareholders than it is a creative thing.
Unless you're Melania Trump, of course, in which case, make that shit film. It doesn't. It costs a few $100 million or whatever, and don't make any money because no one's going to do it. It's a puff piece to make the president happy.
Ted Sarandos is possibly the worst thing to happen to cinema ever.
Interesting. So you think Doctor Who is probably, sorry, just bring it on to the topic of the podcast. Doctor Who is probably caught up in this kind of crazy zeitgeist that we're
I think
riding the wave of.
There's a number of people who, for whom Doctor Who is Tennant and Rose, and
that's the mass market. That's that channel, isn't it? In a way,
yeah. And I'm not saying that's necessarily a bad thing, but for me, and as I've said this before, when they brought Tennant back again as a supposedly new version of the Doctor, I just thought.
That's just mad. I
really
might as well have just come back as the 10th Doctor. Really.
Well, I mean, he was. They were like, "Oh, why has he got this face again?" And it was, some absolute nonsense. And I just really disliked it, and I have my own, feelings about why, with Jodie's era and it happening and blah blah blah.
They could have just done a series of 10th Doctor specials that completely divorced from the rest of the show as a nostalgia thing, and then pick up Jodie regenerating into Shooty.
Yeah, I think I probably would have felt a bit better about that. And now,
rather than do this weird stuff of trying to weave it into continuity and adding something, you talk about making things new, where you could probably argue that bi-generational, by whatever it's called, is a new thing. But isn't it really?
No. And
it's just a load of old nonsense.
And let's be honest.
Where do we draw the line in that, though? What is nonsense and what isn't?
It's all personal opinion, I suppose, isn't it? But I was going to say, let's be honest. The Doctor lineup looks bloody stupid with 2 Tennants in it now. And now we're going to have
that's the thing that bugs you more than anything, doesn't it?
Yeah,
we've got 2 David Tennants.
And now, they didn't see one shark. They saw 400 and thought we could jump them.
And jump all of those.
Here's Billy.
Yeah.
And honestly, if it's true that Tennant's back again, I mean,
you think it probably is, isn't it? Like you said at the start of this, there's a lot of things that
I would be surprised if he doesn't come back. And
how disappointed do you think you're going to be on the scale of 1 to 10?
Well, let's just say this podcast ain't happening anymore.
No, don't leave me on my own.
No, but then
we could cross to the dark side. Then we could become one of those ranty podcasts.
No, well, I don't. Let's not us. I don't want to do that.
It's not,
and that's what people listening. We never talk about rumours in this to this degree normally.
It's true.
We didn't have anything else to talk about. But I would be very disappointed because it's just too much reliance on the one.
Let's look at this as a cathartic exercise, getting it off your chest. I think that's a very healthy thing to do on occasion.
Normally, I watch something and like Shooty's era wasn't great, but there was always something to enjoy.
Yeah.
Like generally, but then I think I said on those reviews, Legend of Ruby Road was truly awful, and I was, I really, it sounds a bit pathetic, but I really did find that quite difficult, really, because I was like, I actually did not like that at all. I had real problems with it, and that's quite unusual for me, because I normally kind of, if I'm enjoying something enough, I can look past any kind of weak points.
I think usually in those terms, you're more accepting of story and narrative weirdness than I am.
If I'm having a good time and I'm engaged and emotionally affected by it, I can look past weak.
So clearly stuff. You haven't been emotionally affected in the right way, I guess. It's more of a which kind of forces you then to look at the story, doesn't it? And once you start looking at a story, that just falls apart on close examination. Well, not even close examination.
No. Someone on YouTube said, didn't they, a couple of weeks ago, would I have felt differently about the stories if Jodie had been the Doctor? And I think, I probably would have somewhat looked past it all because I was enjoying her so much. But I think still they would have been weak stories. And I don't feel that her era was like that. And I'm biased. That era is peak for me.
I agree with you.
Whatever came next was unlikely to top it, but I didn't expect it to be, that.
I remember watching Series 10, and I did enjoy Series 10. It was a bit of a breath of fresh air in some ways, but it was still very much of the same mould of everything that had happened in modern Doctor Who's since before.
Yeah.
And I do remember thinking, as that series kind of progressed, where are they going to take it? Because if it's more of the same, I'm just going to get really, really incredibly bored. I think the only thing that was I was going to watch it anyway, but I think the thing that helped me kind of enjoy it perhaps was because that was Freya's, my daughter's first experience of Doctor Who. That was the first season she watched. and she was kind of marveling at all of it, every new episode, every new monster, every new hero. She was just enjoying it, and she started asking me about the history and who's this guy and who's the master, and and then we went back and watched the modern series from the beginning once that had finished in the build up to Jodie's stories. So that was quite nice. But I think you know, and I know the Chibnall era doesn't, you know, has its detractors, and that's fine. Every era is going to have them. But for me, like you, that seemed to elevate the whole. It broke away from that Stephen Moffat, Russell T Davies format. It's something that felt new and yet traditional at the same time. It was that return to Doctor Who's roots, but presented in a modern format, you know, for a modern audience. And I get that it didn't gel with everybody, but as far as the stories go, okay, you know, they were good stories. You know, they were doing what Doctor Who set out to do originally, to entertain, educate, historically, scientifically, and get our imaginations fired.
And, you know, it's worth saying that, you know, for me, and probably for you, I think, you know, that era, it became, without me really having realised it, what I wanted from Who all along.
Same.
And it was, you know, successively building on itself and being better and better. But there's people out there, obviously, who don't like the era. You know, I think some people are wrongly.
Well, there's people who stopped watching with David Tennant or Matt Smith or Peter Capaldi or whatever.
I get it, you know.
But it was like that in the old days as well. You know, I remember growing up and people saying, "Well, I haven't watched it since William Hartnell stopped, or since Patrick Troughton stopped."
It's an unusual show.
It's same thing. In the 80s, people hated Doctor Who apart from the fans. And well, I mean, that's a massive generalisation, but that's what it felt like, you know, because my mum thought it was ridiculous. My dad had been watching it since whenever, and he didn't think it was what it used to be and stuff like that. And I think that's a kind of a natural thing, you know, unless you are an invested fan who's going to literally follow it till its very, very end, you're not going to. You know, but I think in order to keep fans invested, as we said before, you have to feed them with something new. You know, your fans are always going to look at the nostalgia and they're going to enjoy it, but I hope I'm speaking for most of them. And when I say we want new stuff, we want, it's that weird combination of more of the same, but something new, perhaps. You know, the things that identify something as the thing that it is. So whether it's your band or your MCU or your Avatar or Doctor Who or whatever, you want the core essentials within the ingredient mix that make that thing quintessentially of its kind. But around that, you can ice the cake however you want to, in a way, as long as the icing looks attractive and tastes nice. If you eat it and it tastes horrible and you think, well, what the hell is this? And then you dig through and there's like none of the original ingredients that make it what it is, then you're not going to like it, I guess. And Doctor Who is a cake metaphor, ladies and gentlemen, right there.
And I was going to say, you know, there's people that didn't like Chibnall's here, and that's fine. And there's people who loved Tennant coming back, and that's great. You know, it was for them.
Yeah.
You know, it didn't work for me. And like you said, you know, a fan, you know, if you're like a real hardcore fan or something, you follow it through thick and thin. You know, your band might be top of the charts one album, they slip down a bit the next one, they go back up. You know, you stick with them. But something has to sort of really kind of go wrong with it in your eyes for you to change on that. And you know, I'll be honest. You know, it's tested me with these last couple of years.
Hey, Doctor Who magazine, the 15th Doctor finally meets the Daleks, people. Shame we didn't get to see them on the TV, isn't it?
Yeah, why? I mean, maybe they were waiting for his third year, and you know, look, obviously stuff went wrong, and it didn't happen. But you know, that seems like a bit of a faux pas, really. But let's talk about you know, other stuff that's not. So we've got
something more positive.
We've got the Fugitive Doctor coming in Circuit Breaker later this year. I just heard over the weekend from Gallifrey One that Fugitive has a new costume, complete with a hat, which is cool. So I'm really looking forward to all of that. I hope that it's better than Doom Space Day and
those things are just a learning curve, man.
Well, geez, I hope so. So Joe Martin has written the main book for this, I think. Or,
actually,
co-written it, so that's quite cool. I mean, she's involved.
I mean, she probably didn't write it, actually.
Well, I know. I mean, like, you know, Bonnie Langford and
she didn't
Alex
write that
Kingston.
Book.
You know,
there's no way Bonnie Langford wrote that book, mate.
No, I understand that they come up with the idea and they are involved.
With the idea. I honestly, no. If you haven't read the book, have you?
No, I didn't read.
I've read the book, right?
Bonnie
Unless
one.
Bonnie Langford, and I could be mistaken. Please write in, text, let me know. But unless Bonnie Langford is a pretty hardcore sci-fi fan and knows a lot about hardcore sci-fi, she didn't write that book. Jack Rayner wrote that book. Jacqueline Rayner, I guarantee it.
Yeah, my understanding is it is a collaborative thing, but
she's got a name on Bonnie Langford's got a name on the cover, and this is the thing that I get a little bit annoyed about, as it's getting under my skin a bit. Once in a while, it's fine, and if there is a true collaboration, because I know Sophie Aldred collaborated the guys on At Childhood's End, that's fine, but Sophie knows her stuff, right? She knows Doctor Who, and she's had a foot in fantasy and sci-fi and stuff like that, and in our sort of children's literature and things. She knows a lot of that stuff, but the bulk of the writing was done by the guys.
Yeah.
So but Sophie's fine with that. She's happy with that. But
so
I'm pretty sure that if you ask Bonnie Langford directly, did you write a word of this book? She'd answer it properly, and it would be.
She ain't going to come on here now to answer that. But yeah, I'm looking forward to Circuit Breaker. I hope that there's a bunch of good stories. Obviously, I hope that you don't have to buy everything to kind of get it. That my understanding is that the Fugitive possibly meets the other Doctors. There's artifacts that are connected to each Doctor, so the 10 Fugitive thing is inevitable. But I've got high hopes for it, so I'm looking forward to that. We've got another 13th Doctor audio next month, which is about
we've got more coming out over the months, haven't we? So.
Well, yes, there's more. They've been great so far. So I'm really looking forward to that. The 9 and Rose audio's been really good. And, like having Billy doing that, absolutely great.
Yeah.
Billy
as Rose.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Billy has the moments. Perfect.
Yeah, I didn't mind that. 10 coming back for that, didn't mind it. There's a new Six and Perry box set coming out, which I'm looking forward to. And there's a new sometimes Rutons series. I've ordered the Fugitive Doctor one.
Have you taken a 30 manila envelope from Big Finish lately or something?
No, but
literally all you talked about the last 5 minutes is Big Finish.
It's because it's got some good stuff.
There's comics also. We got Titan Comics coming out, finishing the Prison Paradox, which we've had a sneaky little look at. The last one in the series. We got that today. Have you read it yet?
I haven't read it yet. No, I've been filming and I've been on the road a lot today.
Brilliant. We're going to be talking to Jonathan Wilkins about that.
Yeah,
very, very shortly, so we can go about. So that's all good fun. We've got some new Target novels coming out as well, which is great. And if you are after more audio adventures, it's not just Big Finish who do them.
No,
we do them as well. We've got some more of those coming out as well. So we had a little break.
Yes. Oh, yes. Now I was also going to say,
leading into nicely.
Let me see if
Geoff has to do a little bit of technical jiggery pokery here.
So
please bear with us.
We have lots of stuff from our back catalogue that you may not be aware of. We get messages and comments from people every so often saying, I didn't know you'd spoken to so-and-so.
I know, you've got a lot of guests, haven't you? That's what I get.
And
when
we
I talk about the podcast, you've spoke to a lot of people. Oh, really? You've done Chris General, Andrew, Sophie,
People don't necessarily realise. So why not head over to our YouTube, which is youtube.com/@whoc2c. Give us a subscribe. We'd love to, increase that a little bit.
The links are in our podcast descriptions, aren't they? If you look at it on your phone, scroll down a little bit, you'll see all kinds of stuff on there.
But there's lots of playlists on here. So as you can see here, we've got Chris Chibnall on Who C2C. So when Chris joined us to talk about Death at the White Hart, and then his earlier interviews from a couple of years ago when we
the classic,
met up with him.
Epic interview.
Yeah. And then we've got cast interviews here. So Joe Martin, that we mentioned, Tim Trelaw, Craig Ells, Dan Starkey, various Big Finish talents. So look, Colin Baker, the Sixth Doctor himself, which you may not have known, that he came on.
Susan Twist.
Yeah, Susan Twist was brilliant. We have a whole playlist of character options stuff when we look at figures and sets and review them. When Al Dewar joins us and we look at things with him.
Those are thumbnails, mate. Tell the ones that you did in a rush, can't you?
Yeah, they are much better now. Yeah.
Dear.
Then we've got Doctor Who creatives, so Jonathan Wilkins from Titan Comics, Edward Russell, who was the brand manager, guys from the BFI, Jason Quinn from DWM, Lee Binding, Mike Tucker, who made stuff blow up, and then we've got lots of writers as well. So recently, Lisa McMullen from Big Finish, Andrew Cartmel, Kimi Pearson, Neil Bushnell, various other people there that you may know.
Peter Angelidis.
Yeah. And then
I'll say those for you because I know you.
Yes, I struggle with those.
I saw you whiz past them there with your little mouse.
And then production crew interviews. There's a lot of stuff from early on, relatively, in our podcast.
Our first ever luminary guest.
Yeah.
Pete Levy.
Lots of people there. Wyn Jones, who designed Jodie's TARDIS, Kevin McNally. Then we've got a lot of commentaries. And it's interesting there, we were really lucky and very grateful with people from the Chibnall era that they came on the podcast. It's sadly proven much harder with RTD2 for whatever reason, but
much harder.
There we are. So commentary, various recent ones. Sometimes we've had Al Dewar on with us. We've done episodes with Pete Levy talking about his time on Doctor Who, all sorts of stuff on there. We've got our original Doctor Who audio dramas, including a behind the scenes with interviews with people. And then we've got, we do have a members only section on.
Is this the one you got to subscribe to? Is it?
Yeah, it is. It's the YouTube equivalent of.
Jeff, how does one subscribe to open up those videos?
Well, if one would like to subscribe, you need to go to the membership tab here, and it shows slightly differently here for me because I run the channel. But that's where people can sign up, and much like the Explorers option for the podcast itself, which there is a link for in YouTube if you're watching on there, or wherever your podcast listening comes from. So, if people subscribe, it helps support the podcast, basically. We're very grateful for it. We've got 20 odd subscribers who are all amazing. And it helps us to do this. So, thank you for that.
Indeed.
And we do try to do, extra episodes for members only and early releases on things. And we have to be honest, we slightly slipped on that in the last few months.
We got plans, though.
We do have plans. Life sometimes gets in the way.
Yeah.
And early releases have been slightly tricky because we often don't record until like a day or two before the episode goes out. But yes, apologies. Like I said, life sometimes gets in the way, but we will be hopefully working on that.
Also, can I just show our website? All right, here we go. Hold on, I'm gonna work my what do you call it? Multitasking. There you go. That's our website here. So it's basically just where you can scroll. I mean, also you can find us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and all the rest of it. But if you go to our website, you can stream and subscribe directly. You'll see all these kind of things at the top there. So we recommend a few other podcasts as well. Hamster with a Blunt Penknife, Joe Ford, which you were on, actually. I meant to say this to you a minute ago, actually, because you reminded me that of that episode you were on, but we moved on from that. Secrets and Spies and Who Gives a Flux. So there you go. There's podcast that.
I'll just say Secrets and Spies is my friend Chris, his podcast, which is about spies. And espionage.
Secrets and Spies.
Indeed. He's been doing it for a very long time. He's had some great guests on there if you're interested in that. I'm going to add a couple of podcasts to that list, actually.
We need to stick a few more on there, actually. Yeah. But what you can also do, you see this little button here, fan mail, it says. You can access this on your phone as well. It says send us a text if you look at it on Apple Podcasts. But, look, what fan mail have we got here, Jeff?
I don't know.
Actually, this is worth pointing out. So somebody has actually written us a really beautiful, lovely review for our audio drama, The Princess and the Rebel. But if you do send us a text, actually, we can't reply to these. There's no mechanism within there to reply to people who do this. So I'm just going to read this out because why not? It's glowing. So whoever it was from Columbus,
Tennessee.
Tennessee.
Think they're called Columbus. Well,
No,
it might be, but
no.
unlikely.
Anyway,
please
so
get in touch. We need to know who you are.
We do, yeah, please do, honestly. So this person writes, so I recently discovered that you made original audio dramas for Doctor Who. I adore Big Finish, quite rightly. And so I was quite excited to discover that you had dramas akin to Big Finish, especially for the 13th Doctor. Well, I've loved and I'm greatly looking forward to the 13th Doctor audio dramas on Big Finish. Having several more to listen to is wonderful. Now for my thoughts on The Princess and the Rebel. Truly and honestly, this was one of the best Doctor Who audio dramas I have ever listened to. Honestly, it is one of the best Doctor Who stories, period. The world building and imagination prevalent in this story was fantastic. I adored the main cast of characters, and the build up for this universe level threat genuinely left me tense and eager for more. The interweaving of what is real versus what is virtual reality is delightful and well done. I'm very excited to see Leah and Rebel meet in real life in the future. This was truly a 10 out of 10 story for me, and I'm so excited for continuation of these characters and plot. Wow. Seriously, thank you so much. Now.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Whoever wrote this, honestly, you absolutely made our days with this. So please if you're able to let us know who you are, right? Because I'm hoping you're listening to our podcast anyway. Just a real big thank you from me, from Geoff, to you, genuinely from the bottom of our hearts, because it's really, really beautiful to see that stuff.
Can I just say,
let us know who you are.
Yeah, and also
social media or something. So
anyone listening, when we get messages like that, and it's going to sound like stroke our ego, but we do the podcasts, and we don't sort of often get a lot of feedback on stuff or engagement and things, particularly on Twitter, which has sort of died.
I think everyone's left Twitter now, mate.
I think they have, yeah. But you know what? Facebook is dying. Paul, just go back to the podcasts we love. At the top.
There we go.
There you go.
Oh, you've added a few more. There you go. Look at that.
So
James Cameron.
Yeah, James Cameron 101. I was on there recently.
Just to kind of balance it out.
Yeah, you should do. Yeah, Savarco is run by a friend of mine, Sean. I was on there a while ago, and Chris also runs Homicide Life on the Set, which is about homicide life on the street. And him running that podcast inspired and led to a cast reunion event that he got to go to and meet everyone. So that was really good for him. I was going to say, when we get a message that says, I've been listening to the podcast, really enjoyed it, or this audio drama was great. It's really nice to hear things like that, and I suppose for me, it makes some of the sort of time and effort that we put into things just
Well, we put a lot of effort into this one, didn't we? For sure, this was the biggest audio drama that we'd ever produced. I mean, it was huge. It's one thing,
and people doing voices and all that
just
stuff.
Getting all that together. Yeah. And then all the post stuff, which you did. I mean, you put the effects and the music on and stuff like that, and it was. But
you wrote it, but it's nice to know that people have enjoyed things, and that it's worthwhile doing. So do let us know. It's really nice to hear. So that's probably it really for now. This has been a slightly different episode.
I think we had to get it off our chest, Geoff.
Yes, I think
they had to be done.
Yeah.
You've got to bottle these things up. You've got to express them in some way. And we have the means to express them via our lovely podcasts and our lovely listeners. And for those of you who do tune in week after week, podcast after podcast, we love you. Please carry on. Please get in touch with us. It is difficult sometimes in current times, but if we can help you, if we can raise your ideas, get your voice on the podcast, tell us what you think of Doctor Who, of Marvel, even Avatar, anything, whatever your interests are, let us know.
Yeah, let us know. I think we've talked, and we're open to talking about other things on here. And
even K-pop Demon Hunters.
Yeah.
Which I haven't watched yet, and I'm not going to.
You're missing out, mate. I watched it again the other night. Look,
every time.
I'm not afraid to admit I watched it again the other night. It's so good.
Good for you.
Absolutely,
I'm sure it's amazing. Yeah.
There's my roomie.
Your roomie. What's your roomie? What?
Roomy, the main one of the main girls.
Right,
I've got a little bobblehead.
Actually, I never showed you that. You can't see this, can you? I have got a Funko.
Oh yeah, I meant to ask you that. Is that
Yeah,
what is that? Is that Stranger Things?
No, it's John Bon Jovi.
Really?
Yeah.
What era?
That's little John Bon Jovi.
Oh.
See, he's got his little coat on and everything.
Oh yeah.
I'm little John Bon Jovi, and I keep Paul happy. Like he's my little. I had this story behind that. Is I've had like for years an ongoing joke that I will consult little John Bon Jovi whenever I'm asked a question by the kids on anything.
Yeah.
And if John Bon Jovi says no, then it's a no. If little John Bon Jovi says yes, it's a yes. So for my birthday last year, they actually bought me a little John Bon Jovi Funko Pop. So now he is actually real, rather than just a figment of my.
I was going to ask what was he before that turned up. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've got that's I like that. I've got a little selection there. So Roomy.
You've got quite a few Funko Pops.
Finko Pops.
Funko Pops.
Jake, Quaritch, Yelena, Neytiri, Human Quaritch, Hallows Eve, which is one of my favourite Marvel characters who's not used that much. Black Cat, Veronica Mars. If you've not watched Veronica Mars, you're missing out.
It's pretty good, actually.
It's really good. Buffy. I'm a bit miffed. I bought that Buffy, and then about a year later they released one with the Scythe, which looks really cool. I Am Iron Man, Lita, Rose from Titanic, Spidey, and Scarlet Witch.
Rose from Titanic?
Yeah.
Rose from Titanic, who's not a superhero or a space maiden or any vampire hunting stuff at all. It's literally...
just
what's her name?
Rose DeWitt Bukater.
No, who played her? What was her name?
Kate Winslet.
Kate Winslet, that's it. So
Yeah.
you've got a small doll-like figure of Kate Winslet.
I
not even dressed up in superhero garb or anything.
I don't have Jack because he was really expensive.
Hey, I've got little John Bon Jovi. I can't say anything, can I?
Is that they made the Jack and Rose so that their hands would.
You're a James Cameron nutter, aren't you?
Together.
Basically,
yeah.
Whatever James Cameron touches, you are just going to snap it off.
Yeah, yeah. I nearly bought Ripley and Funko Pop, but it was expensive. So I didn't.
Right.
Yeah.
On that note, should we wind it up?
Yeah. Oh, I'll just show this off.
Oh yeah, go on.
What's that? Very, very limited edition.
The light?
Can you see?
Too much glare on it. Oh yeah, what's that? Oh, there we go. What is that? Varang. Oh, okay.
Yeah, only 3,500 worldwide.
Most of them are on a landfill now, aren't they?
Actually, a number of them are on eBay for a couple of £100.
What? Yeah. You're joking, aren't you?
No, I'm not. Look it up. Yeah. Right.
And
on that note, we will be back soon.
Mm-hmm. We will.
And thanks for listening.
Regular service will be resumed.
Well, maybe we'll see. So, peace out, TTFN.
Peace out. Okay. What he said. See you next time. Bye now.
Bye.